Oh, me and Valerie, we met in University of Buffalo. My name is Brandon Martin.
There you go.
And we lived together for 2 years in college. We shared a house down in downtown Buffalo. And
wow.
Which had mold in it, by the way.
Yep.
Well, that's another show.
Yeah, that's
I did
another
a whole show
That's
on
a whole
mold.
nother show.
Yep.
I did a whole show on mold.
It's a whole other show.
Definitely not a sanitary house by any means, and it's just very difficult, especially as just a friend that wants to make sure that Valerie's all right, and you don't know what's going on.
Right.
All you can do is just, be there and be patient and just hope that everything turns out okay. But for those years when we lived together, we had no idea what it was that she was afflicted with.
Wow.
So it was just to, take her to different doctors.
Wow.
And
if I could say how many times Brandon, without question, got into, we were BFA musical theater majors. Our course was very rigorous, our courses,
of course
and
they
our
are.
schedules.
Yes.
I
was a music and art major, so I know.
so you get it. So it never stops.
Jessica's
your
a
work
music
gets done.
major.
Yes, absolutely. So the commitment and to your craft never stops. But if I could just say this, it's really difficult that I've been inflicted with this and blah, 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 me, but I have been so lucky that I have had a family who stood behind me and friends. He would leave his classes in a heartbeat to get into his car and take me to a doctor.
Wow.
Multiple times a week.
You're like a super friend.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he really tried to help me get a diagnosis, and unfortunately that didn't come until a few years later.
Yeah.
But he was with me every step of the way, heard me screaming in the night in pain.
Wow.
It's tough. It's just.
I can't imagine your experience and watching someone writhe like that and but yet we're trying to keep it together and get through school and function.
It's just, you're helpless. All you can do is just be there.
Well, I know. I had my friend watch me, and you go through life. I'm old enough to be your grandmother probably, but the point is, you go through life and you expect to, at the end of your life, to have a wonderful life. You don't expect to have seizures, faint, blackout, pain in every part of your body.
Every part.
Every part. Parts you wouldn't think could get pain, right?
Yeah.
There was pain there. Every part, your joints, your ankles swell up, your knees swell up. You can't think right. But this is what you're talking about, right? And Debbie Gibson's here for a reason, right?
Absolutely.
We know why she's here, right?
I believe that she was really getting ridiculed by the press. I don't know the timeline of that, but I know that's what she recently came out saying, that she lost a lot of weight when she was secretly battling through this nightmare. Horrific nightmare. And she really received a lot of criticism and judgment for something that no one knew what was really going on.
Yeah.
So she recently, I believe, came out and said, this is what was happening. I'm, on my way, and I'm here to say, number one, a major theme of chronic illness in general, just secret suffering, and how do you deal with that, and how do you maintain relationships, and how do you, I can't even imagine for her as a public figure, but how do you inform your friends and family but not overburden them?
Exactly.
It's like all of these themes that are constantly being negotiated, and so I appreciate her presence as a fellow.
Well, you're doing that too. I mean, you're coming out as well. You're the actor, you're the founder of Artists Bite Back.
Yes, so I'd love to tell you a little bit about that.
I want you to tell me, because I think it's the artist in all of us that has made us come to the forefront unconditionally to help and support.
Yeah.
So tell me about what you've done. I want to tell everybody, we're going to give you lots of information about Artists Bite Back. But for people, well, we want to make sure that if you go to Facebook.com, you can go to Artists Bite Back. You can go to Twitter, Artists Bite Back.
We don't have a Twitter yet because I'm so slow with the social media, but I'm working
on it.
But
they're on Instagram.
We're on Instagram.
They got the Instagram.
Like everyone in the world, we got to be on the Instagram.
Tell us about the organization.
Absolutely.
Are you getting artists together? They need to get together.
We are. So basically, this journey for me and all of the people who have been with me, which is also their journey as well, as you heard Brandon said this so well, this has been going on for multiple years, and when I was in the thick of it, and I have to be honest, I still am in the thick of it. I'm still fighting every day, and really working to figure out what's going to get me where I need to be. But I really took a step back and said, this has been going on for a really long time, and I don't know an exact timeline, when I'm going to be able to be completely engaged as I want to be again. So how can I utilize this time when I'm focusing on my treatment, when I'm focusing on really trying to cultivate as positive of an environment as possible to promote my own healing, and also to ultimately give back to the people who have been by me through it all.
Yes.
But I just really feel like it's about time that we make an attempt to gather together and express these major themes of not only Lyme and other tick-borne associated diseases, but chronic illness in general, and just try to use what we've gone through on a visceral, cathartic, emotional, human level. And how can we turn this around and simultaneously promote, awareness and reach out to our community, engage in community outreach. But ultimately, how can we as actors, dancers, athletes, painters, musicians, singers, how can we take this time that we kind of have had to pull away from our commitment to our careers
I gotta tell you,
and engage?
You guys, if there's any community that can do it, you guys have the ability to represent this disease in multimedia.
Absolutely.
See, we do a little multimedia, but you guys, I can imagine your website filled with artists and kinds of things.
Yes.
All walks of life.
We have actors, we have directors, we have people of all ages as well.
Right.
I reached out to a lot of directors who I worked with in summer stock and as a child, and there's the range of ages and the range of experience and exposure to this particular set of diseases is so vast that it's simultaneously providing a place where we can kind of communicate, but it's really not treatment-based. I was very adamant about not wanting to make it a pseudo-support group where we ruminate about all the crap we have to go through. I want to take what we've gone through, not only on a clinical, in the clinical arena, but like I said, on a human level.
Exactly.
Fear, loss,
anger,
resentment. And how do we take that? How do we make a short film about this that's not so blatantly sad, that's going to inform the public but not make them want to turn it off within 2 minutes? Because how do you
I know that
navigate
you guys,
that bridge?
Artists, you will figure that out.
Right.
But what you've created, from what I hear you saying, Valerie, is you created a forum for that kind of conversation.
Yes, we have to start the dialogue, and we have to start flipping it, where we utilize what isn't running through our veins and running through our hearts and is in our brain and in our souls, but how can we create something ultimately, at the end of the day, the themes and what the experience is and what this art project, be it a photography exhibition, be it a short film, be it a stage reading of a play, be it art, visual art.
Absolutely.
How can that display these themes without alienating the public at large? And really, I have to go back to
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Let me alienate the public at large.
I just
don't worry about that part.
It's like, how do you do it?
You guys will figure it out.
Yeah.
Some of us are beyond that at this point. But remember, use what you know. Use your medium.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Instead of graffiti names, can you imagine graffiti now showing up in support of this?
Yeah.
And we don't call it graffiti anymore, but
Oh yeah, totally.
Right?
It's not at the level, where it's accessible in a way where people can process, because it is so complicated, and that's not the public's fault. It really isn't. So, but I do want to briefly go back to the mission statement that, it is about where I came from when I launched this collective a couple of months ago. Was, okay, I'm still in treatment, I'm still trying to figure things out, but how can I, like I said earlier, utilize this time to its optimal degree to take some hours out of the day to try to engage, because that's where I was at. And I was noticing, I'm purposefully very open about my experience, because I kind of want to put myself out there to try to help other people, but still, even with not saying anything, you say Lyme disease. Oh, my friend had it. My family's friend had it. My aunt had it. And because of what my career is and what the communities that I've been involved in at large for the majority of my life thus far, those people happen to be artists of all types, because those are mostly the people I know. So it was alarming, and especially people of our age group, 20s, teens, 30s, people who on a social level, this is the time when you're supposed to really buckle down and focus on your career, meet someone, get married, have a family. And our paradigm is just, when we're dealing with something like this, it's just so backwards. So it's like, how do we address this alienation from society by engaging within society and exposing what's going on? And it was really about providing a platform digitally, like you said, and we talk about it in person, but we have members who are living in Chicago, members who are living in Buffalo, members here in New York City and Brooklyn, and it's like, how can we manifest a place, even if it's just starting on Facebook, it's something, a place where we can say what's going on and flip it and put it out there instead of being alone.
Give everybody your website again. And
absolutely.
Thank you for joining me here
today. Thank you so much for
having
us.
Thank you. Really.
So my name is Valerie Yawien again. My personal website is ValerieRoseYawien.com, and there will be some information regarding Artists Fight Back very soon. It's still under construction, but you could just see some stuff about me anyway.
Yeah, we all got them.
We're all under construction. We're all works in progress.
Yeah. We've got LymeGlobal.com as well,
great.
and iCheckForTicks.com. I check for ticks.
I will bookmark those. Sure.
iCheckForTicks.com. So
great.
We're all putting them together.
Yes, and
we
then
have to do it.
Sorry.
Yeah,
we have to do it. There's no option.
Right.
I feel like, I'm willing to put myself out there and sacrifice that kind of privacy, because ultimately that privacy is one of the most miserable things of this disease. And then you could find, thank you. And you could find us on Facebook. That's the first outlet that I approach, since it's free and everyone's on it. We have, if you just go on Facebook and search Artists Fight Back, our public page will come up. And then we also have a group which is open to the public of the same name, Artists Fight Back, and you can request to join, and I will obviously approve you. And then this is where everybody's kind of ruminating about upcoming creative ideas. So please visit us and stay strong.
We'll support you as well.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it.